I am fond of saying that my life changed the day I discovered cheddar cheese was not naturally orange. That isn't too far from the truth, although it didn't happen on one day, and it wasn't so much the fun fact as it was the community that gave it to me. I've learned so much since that day about the world, about myself, about intentionally chosen prepositions in ancient biblical texts, about friendship and family, about God's love. Saying the United Methodist Student Association has been life-changing for me isn't an overstatement. In fact, it might even be an understatement, and I would be honored to serve as its vice president for the upcoming semester. The job description for vice president is vague and leaves room for each vice president to make the position their own. I believe the primary function of this particular e-board, other than the logistics of event planning, is to keep the community the same and to change the community. Yes, both at the same time. As a team, our goal is to find the parts of the community that really work, the UMSA spirit that has embraced so many over the years, and to keep that spirit going. But it's also our job to find those parts of the community that could be strengthened, that could be improved in a way that would help others. This is the mindset that would guide my semester as vice president. But this seemingly abstract concept also comes with concrete plans. I've developed a 3-part platform detailing some of the things I hope to accomplish. We begin in the present, where my goals include continuing my involvement in the worship committee, thinking of an alliteration name for our tavern meals no matter what day of the week it is, and gauging interest in a women's group. On top of this, I want to bring back the community newsletter from a few years ago. It's a monthly publication that showcases what's going on in the community by making sure everyone has a voice. UMSA subgroups like Social Justice, Faux Sound, and Men's Group can each have a section to market themselves to congregants, and alumni can have a section to share stories from the other side of graduation. Other sections like comics, fun facts, satire, news, and birthdays would give everyone who wanted to a chance to participate. The second part of my platform is the past, the focus of this part being documentation. I remember sitting by the campfire at Joe's cabin, or standing around the cheese and crackers on a Sunday night, or finishing the crumbs of communion at the earliest hours of a Friday and listening in wonder and laughter to the legacies of UMSA history. And do you ever wonder where some of our traditions come from? As vice president, I want to take on the task of collecting UMSA folklore into a written record that can be shared with future generations. I also want to incorporate event photography into the role of vice president, much like Rachel Turnus did during her time in the position. The last part of my platform looks towards the future, through community outreach and interfaith relations. The bonds we share with each other are strong and wonderful and transcend things like oceans and time zones. The UMSA is a family, and there is nothing wrong with that, but sometimes we forget that we are part of a larger community and that we have the opportunity, or as I believe the obligation, to extend our welcoming presence not just to those who join the UMSA, but to everyone who walks this campus. We already do that in many ways, from our monthly movies to free chocolate during finals week. Our Welcome Week presence is particularly strong, but sometimes I think we could use a little more Welcome Week throughout the semester. And there are little things we can do to truly ingrain a spirit of inclusiveness into the UMSA, like sitting next to newcomers on Sunday evenings, or hosting more social events with the goal of showing people that this is a community you can join in anytime, that the friendships you see may be strong, but that does not mean they are closed. It didn't take much for me to start referring to Case Spiritual Life Center as home with a capital H, but sometimes I forget it is home to other people as well. This revolutionary building isn't just a sanctuary for the United Methodist Protestant community, but for the Jewish community as well. For the Muslim community, we exist together under the same roof, and yet sometimes it feels like we are so far apart. The Catholic Cove is a 10-second walk from our place, and yet how often are we knocking at their door? Chi Alpha is literally right next to us, and yet it took me flying all the way to Prague to meet and befriend one of their congregants. This is not to say that interfaith relations are non-existent, as we are indeed brought together by the Interfaith Council in a meaningful way, as well as through semesterly interfaith services and other events. But I have to believe there is more we can do as a community. There is more we can do in between the scheduled events. There is more we can do to make K a truly interfaith space, not just in function, but in the everyday. And that to me is really where the e-board works, in the everyday. A vice president isn't just vice president on Sundays from 6 to 8, Thursdays from 10 to 12, and whenever the weekly planning meetings are. We are a community built not only of scheduled events, but also in the love and communion that exists in the space in between. That is where I think I can do the most good for the community. Leading the UMSA in the outreach, hospitality, and free pizza we are so well known for. Thank you.